down, chop it down, chop it down, you gon' chop it down. Chop it down, you gon' chop it down.
I just appreciate everybody
watching. Watch him throw the ball, we gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through fourth and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders, heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep your cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Dive.
Ooh, man, what's going on with y'all, man? Good morning. Happy Friday to everyone out there, man. To all the morning trappers, shout out to you all. Administrative item, let's get that out of the way, man. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you just tapping in. If you tapping in off the rip, let me get my music going so we can get this thing started the right way. You know what I didn't do either? Hold on, where is the music? Let me go ahead and do this right now. Put the link you all want to join, man, on the show.
Hey, run that shit up, Chase.
In the description, in the YouTube description. Okay, so catching up on a couple of shows, man. Make sure y'all check out the All 32 side Trap or Die podcast. Came out Wednesday. A lot of Cowboys, a lot of Titans talk. With a little dab of Washington. I don't like to talk Washington Commanders on that show, but that's the show. That's the show where it's like I get away from all of the Commanders talk. I'm stress free on that show. I just get to chop it up with the day ones, man. But check that out. Obviously, all Trap or Dive podcast last night with AJ and Dre. A lot of a lot of Ron Rivera talk. Sprinkled in with a little Sam Howell conversation. We'll talk a little bit more about Sam Howell today on the show, but I don't know the depth. I don't know what to expect from Sam. I don't know what to expect of Sam. And that's kind of what makes this tricky. Like, let me be clear. I don't have much expectations of Sam. It's not, I don't know what to expect of him. I don't have much expectations of Sam. But what I will say, if this start for Sam Howell, we might as well just start off the rip. Might as well just start with it. I'm gonna go ahead and start with it. What's going on with you, Al, too? And this is actually what I was about to get to. So look, if Sam gets, what's going on with you, Jay? Appreciate you checking in, man. Good morning to all the morning trappers out here. But if Sam comes out and he looks bad, not if the offensive line can't protect him, not if his receivers drop some passes, not if you can't establish a ground game, but if he looks bad, whose fault is that? Whose fault is it if Sam Howell, from an individual standpoint, if he looks terrible, whose fault is that? Like, I went out of my way in the offseason. I'd like to say I was wrong. In that Malik Willis, now his traits were good, right? But I thought that he can be like a year one starter. And technically he did get some starts, but he got the starts as a result of injury to Ryan Tannehill. But he did earn that number 2 spot. Granted, because I know a Titans guy, right? Granted, their second string at the time was terrible. He was ass. So it wasn't hard for Malik Willis to become the primary backup. Point being, and where I'm getting at, Malik Willis is a little different. And I was wrong. I don't think he was ready to start in year one. Or it doesn't look like he's ready to start in year one. It's the reason why they brought in Josh Dobbs, right? But he's probably like that one guy where you look at and you say he's the one person you can give some time to. He needs some work. He needs some development. But a Desmond Ridder, a guy who has somewhat of familiarity with a pro style offense, if I'm not mistaken, I don't remember Cincinnati's offense to a degree, but him starting and looking good or bad can just be a result of him having the right preparation and coaching. Same thing with Sam Howell, right? Like Jay said, the offensive staff, like if Sam Howell looks bad, that's primarily on him, on the staff for not preparing him and not developing him. And that's where I'm getting to. Like, it's not like Malik Willis is a little different case. And I'm there to give him a little bit of leeway. But Sam Howell's coming out from a program where he threw the ball a lot. And he made some really good throws. He made some solid reads. And he had some struggles in the preseason, right? But he's had 16 games and 17 weeks to pick up the offense, to work on his skill set. His main thing, according to coaches, is footwork and getting the ball out quick. And knowing what to do when his first read isn't there, like finding a solution to a play when the first read isn't there. But to Jay's point, like it would be on the offensive staff. Scott Turner, Zampese, right? And then Ron Rivera to a degree. Like how much development has he had? How much mentorship has he had with this team? That'll be interesting. So yeah, I don't think if he has a good game, I wouldn't necessarily say it just depends on what good game he has. Like a good game for me, I'm looking at from a statistical standpoint, a good game for me is somebody who's around 64, 65 minimum completion percentage. I'm not incorporating any drops or anything like that. I'm talking about just pure like 64, 65 completion percentage. I'm looking at 250 plus yards. I'm looking at least 2 touchdowns that he's responsible for, whether it's scrambling or throwing, and no turnovers. That's a good game to me. Again, I'm not setting expectations, but I'm saying like if he was to have a good game, I would have to throw some of the coaches some of the credit, and then I would have to give the players some of the credit as well. But a terrible game is something where I'm looking at like either he's not good or the staff just didn't prepare him well enough in a very big game where the Cowboys are trying to win, right? They're trying to get that dub. They're trying to make the playoffs. They're trying to win the division. They're not about to hold back for no rookie. They're not about to hold back at all in this game. So that's kind of where my concern is. That's my concern. We have one of the poorest coach offenses in the NFL. That is a fact. We need a new play caller. First point of order this offseason. You're laughing off. You think he escapes with no turnovers? Sam is a no turnovers. No. I ain't saying he getting out of there without turnovers though. But I think when I talk about a good game, that's how I qualify it. So we're going to see. I think and that's kind of the thing in the preseason. If you all remember, like some of the throws that he made, were some bad throws. Like that's kind of what it was. Like, I said I was going to bring up my notes from preseason a couple days ago and still didn't do it. I don't remember what I said about Sam Howell, but there was 2 things that popped up in my head about Sam during that time, because he made some throws that was like stare downs and almost got him in trouble, and then he took some bad sacks as well because he didn't get the ball out of his hands or he didn't scramble. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Sam Howell. I thought about as well, like the next steps a little bit further for this quarterback position altogether. Did you all know, side note, where is it at? That there's they had odds checkers have it at a 10% chance for the Commanders to land Derek Carr. That is 1, 2, 3, 4. That is fifth, tied for fifth in terms of best odds to land Derek Carr. Above the Commanders are the Panthers, the Buccaneers, the Colts, and the Jets. Jets can win with a veteran quarterback. But the Commanders, looking at them having a 10% chance to get Derek Carr. Now, granted, again, these are just odds. Like, it holds no basis, and the odds will change in the offseason once more information comes out, right? So I'm not going to sit here and like make this the Bible, the holy grail of Derek Carr information. However, just understanding where Washington is to start out the odds things, it shouldn't be surprising, but it's also a little bit too high for me. 10% chance in the field of 32, it's pretty high, especially when some of those 32 has franchise options already. Does anybody want Derek Carr? I'm just asking. I'm not about to sit here and disagree with you or call you crazy. If you want Derek Carr, that's your prerogative. But I'm not in that boat. I'm just interested in seeing why you want Derek Carr if you are a fan of that idea. And speaking of other things as well, some people I had come across. Where is it at? Wait, this can't be a real article. I gotta double check this. Our best bet is to still run it back with Taylor Heineke and Phil Needs. Jay Tyler said no Derek Carr. What's going on, Rich? Appreciate you checking in, big dog. So here's my thing on Taylor. Let me go ahead and see. Yeah, because I'm not about to jump. This is a head coaching thing. So I'm gonna keep this quiet for a second. Zoo, what's going on with you? Good morning to everybody that's just checking in. So Taylor, I think, do y'all even think Taylor wants to come back? Like, if he's offered some decent money in free agency, which I think he will now that he ain't playing in the last week, what's the motivation for him coming back, like, outside of the obvious? Like, why not a new start somewhere else now that you done had two and a half years in one spot to put your name back out there? Like, you can play in this league. You're good enough to play in the league. You're good enough to stay on a roster, right? You're gonna make some decent money. 5-3-1 as a starter, that ain't excellent or elite by any means. But records are important, especially when you're in that spot duty role. Does he want to come back to DC? Here's another thing too. So the same odds makers thing has a list of teams that needs quarterback. Y'all gotta stop with this Heineke shit. We his only payday. Nah, Rich, we ain't his only payday. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I guarantee you, if he not in Washington, he gonna land with a team. So here's the odds for here's the other teams that I mentioned for Derek Carr. There's some teams that has quarterback issues, or quarterback problems, whether it's starting options or depth pieces. So I'm gonna list the names. We're gonna go from there. So you got the Jets, the Colts, the Buccaneers, the Panthers, Commanders, Saints, Patriots, Titans. The Titans. Okay. The Texans, the Falcons, Cardinals, and Packers. Is Jordan Love a free agent or something? Is Jordan Love? Let me see. I don't remember what year he got into the league. Jordan Love contract. I don't think they about to pick up his 5th-year option. What year he come out? Oh, he came out in 2020. I'm tripping. All right. Hawk, appreciate you checking in, player. Good morning. Mike, good morning. Blessings to everybody. If Heineke is offered good money plus has built chemistry with all the receivers, and he is the obvious best QB here as we speak. Yeah, I mean, all that is true, right? But here's and this was part of my argument for when I said when I believe that the locker room is only one aspect. I mean, it's an aspect and an important aspect to like how they feel about quarterback, but I don't think it holds. Like, I think they still know who Heineke is. Like, they know that Heineke isn't going to. Excuse me. Heineke is going to have some issues with certain passes, right? The receivers are going to have to step up and make plays for their quarterback, which is part of their job. I play wide receiver now, and like just the general basis of playing receiver. I'm not saying I played on a pro level, but the general basis, like, you have to make plays for your quarterback. Every pass ain't gonna be perfect, but to my point, if you have to challenge every single pass when you have a step on a DB, and I'm not saying it's every single pass with Taylor, but if that's the thought in your head, be like, damn, bro, I gotta make a play damn near every time I get a target. Then that's something where you're looking at and saying, I'm cool if they go for better in free agency or do the draft. So out too, what I'm saying is, in Washington, and to be honest with you, I don't think he's built chemistry with all the receivers. There was a point in time where Jahan Dotson was getting the Terry treatment that Terry was getting with Carson. That makes sense, right? Like, Jahan Dotson wasn't getting the looks under Taylor, and Terry wasn't getting the looks under Carson. And even still, like, the tight ends all together. The tight end position for Washington this year has been completely. I don't even know what happened. I do not know what happened to that position. It's crazy. Like, there was so much potential there behind Logan Thomas, and nothing came out of it at all. If we can just bolster the O-line and get a couple LBs and corners, we can get Payne back. That's a lot, Rich, if you think about it. In one off season, that's a lot. Like, realistically, think about it. You got left guard, center, right guard, right tackle. All these need to be solved. You need an answer for all four. You can survive with Charles Leno at left tackle. You can win with him. If he's your weakest link on your offensive line, then you're in good hands. But if he's your best player on your offensive line, you got problems. So look, those are the four. Left guard all the way out to right tackle. That's four positions you need answers for. Then you got to figure out what to do with Cole Holcomb. Jamin Davis is going to stay. And then you got to figure out what to do behind Jamin Davis and Cole Holcomb. Because John Bostic, David Mayo, they ain't it. Both of them are also free agents, right? Why would you keep them around? I'm sure they're going to try and bring one of them back. But ultimately, they should not be people who are playing. Like, David Mayo played 98% of the snaps against Cleveland. That's a problem. That is a problem. And he was getting ran through. That don't sound too good, but I ain't had no other way to say it. So that's the linebacker spot. Then corners. By the way, Rich, I agree with everything that you're saying. Like, these are the positions that are important. And omitting quarterback is probably, that's the biggest thing, right? But point is, if you can get corners as well, like, all of these things are important, but that's a lot in one off season. That's a lot. They're gonna keep paying one way or another. They might be better off franchising him. And you could probably live with that if you can get away with or do away with Carson Wentz's contract. Pushing P, rare known list of AJ's real plug connections. We have the best weapons. Bro, he locked to a scheme. The arm talent is a limit for Taylor. We have the best weapons of the teams on that list. But you gotta think though, like, these ain't starting options. He ain't going to, well, Tennessee's probably like his best choice if he wants to start. Houston's not going to entertain Taylor. Like, they're past they have Davis Mills. So Taylor will go to Houston as a backup, because if Davis Mills is on that roster, he's either going to be the new backup or he's going to be starting again next year. I don't know what they believe in. I don't know if they believe in Davis, but I'm sure they can do better, right? And to be honest with you, the Texans and Bears are fighting for the number 1 overall pick. So Houston is probably going to get a Stroud or Bryce. Cardinals, we have some weapons, but they have some dogs too. But I still lean us. Like D-Hop is like he's a dog, and I like their tight end, right? And Hollywood cool too, but yeah, I still go with Jahan, Terry, and Curtis. New Orleans, Kamar, Taysom. Yeah, I think we got Mike Evans. I think we got the best. I think we got the best ones too. Drake London better than everybody. But I mean, that's one person. Kyle Pitts cool. I gotta show my man Drake London some love, bro. Okay. He's expected to make a trade demand because he's fed up with being a bench warmer. I wouldn't mind a trade for Jordan Love. Oh, that's what it is. So he's expected to make a trade. So that's where I was getting. Like I knew it was something going on with Jordan Love, but he wasn't a free agent. Okay. Tony has chemistry with Terry. That is true. I think we have a puncher's chance of winning. This will be the Cowboys' first chance playing Sam Howell, who brings unknown. As far as tight ends, it's Turner's offense. Their linebackers have to be disciplined and will play reactionary football. Yeah, I think I don't know, man. It's weird, bro. And they don't like. At one point, Logan Thomas was a focal point in the offense. Even last year, like he was a dog in the offense before he got hurt. Like his first 2 years in Washington was solid, and the injury changed things. Like he's not the same guy in my opinion. And then behind him, it's like, look at it this way. Let me bring up the numbers. John Bates had like a quiet spurt in his second season, right? But he still has only 14 catches. Logan Thomas has 37 catches. He's played 13 games, has 1 touchdown. John Bates, 1 touchdown. Cole Turner, 9 games, 2 receptions, 23 yards. I pray to God that they used Cole Turner for 100% of the snaps on Sunday, because Cole Turner is a guy that I'm happy or I'm encouraged about, but he hasn't had opportunities with none of these quarterbacks in Carson or Taylor. And he wins. He wins, man. So it's kind of weird. He's not getting these opportunities. 2 catches on the season for Cole, bro. That's frustrating. I'm frustrated to even see that. That is an underwhelming productivity. I don't know if Armani Rogers is back. I forgot about him. He has 5 catches on the year, 64 yards. I don't know what his status is. But if we can sit Logan Thomas and play John, Cole, Armani, I would love to see what that looks like. Like that's a future play. I would love to see what that looks like. My bad. I ain't mean to do that. All right, Jahan had his biggest game with Taylor at the end. Also, our tight ends are wastemen. Yeah, I mean he had his. Oh, hold on. He had a 100-yard game against the Jaguars and had 76 yards against San Fran. I will acknowledge that he is developing some trust, but I can't ignore the fact that he went like his first 3 games with Taylor in. He had 2 catches. they had to dial some shit up for Jahan, and thankfully Taylor Heineke was seeing it. So credit to him in that regard. But yeah, that chemistry wasn't there at first. But you're right, he got better, and his best games for Washington came with Taylor. As long as Bostic and Mayo is banned, they gotta be banned, bruh. I'll be happy. We need better at linebacker. We need 3 on the field. This is a good question. Hey, Rich, this is a good question. So listen. Here's this tweet that I got from our guy Mark Bullock. Let me pull it up. All right, here we go. So, hey, Rich and everybody. So listen, Commanders' use of Sam Cosmi versus the Browns. It's 10 drives. All right. So here's the 10 drives for Sam Cosmi versus the Browns. I'm tripping. You know what? Hold on, bro. Let me this is easier. There we go. I don't know why I ain't just do this. So you see it. Let me break this out. All right. So first drive, 0 snaps. He doesn't see the field until the third drive, and then he plays right tackle. My bad. I'm signing into my laptop. Give me 2 seconds. Okay. And then at the third drive, 5 snaps at right tackle. Next drive, right guard. And then his last, all of the rest of his snaps were at right tackle. To Bullock's point here, right? He follows it up, says by Ron has always talked about the benefit of having a settled group with the offensive line. So rotating a second-round pick between 2 different positions feels very disruptive to both Cosmi's development and the offensive line's production. I agree with them. And I agree with them for the fact that, like, I don't see a plan when you do this. Like, I understand you're trying to mix in the evaluation. I didn't mean to do that. I understand that you're trying to mix in the evaluation and see, like, where he can best serve moving forward. Like, and I guess to an extent that's a plan, but I feel like at this juncture of the season, figure out where you want to put him. Figure out where you want to put him. Like, there's techniques that are different from guard to tackle, and you have to play a little bit different from guard to tackle. I won't be able to tell you the intricacies in like great detail, but like there's a difference. And I like if he's getting dual duties, okay, cool. I can understand that for a game or two. But like this mix and match thing with Sam is probably wasting his time. Like that's a waste of time in development. You got to find a pick one. Like if you think that he's gonna be better at guard, then keep him there and make sure that he develops there. Like you got to figure that out. You got to figure that out. I keep doing that. I didn't mean to click on that. Oh, it does work. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna keep there for a second. We're gonna get to this conversation with Mike McDaniel. That doesn't make sense. Couldn't hit Logan Thomas to save his life. What's wrong with Khalid Hudson? He just ain't good. He's special teams guy. I can't tell you anything else other than that. There was one time where Washington did, they did value him in this defense. Like they was going to give him a significant role heading into the 2021 season. That's like when the Buffalo nickel, that terminology started to emerge in Washington's defense, right? They were trying to figure that out and who that could be. That's where Khalid Hudson came through, and he just couldn't live up to the opportunity that they gave him. But he did find a spot on special teams. And ain't nothing wrong with, first off, it ain't nothing, and I'm not saying you saying this, Rich, but it ain't nothing wrong with finding a spot in special teams, to be honest with you. Like, you need those type of players. You need a Percy Butler, Jeremy Reeves, you need Khalid Hudson. You need those type of guys who finds value on special teams. So cool with him. I like Mayo as end of a depth chart option. Yeah, but just not as your primary backup. I mean, I even like Bostic. Do y'all remember we were in here showing the tape of John Bostic during that win streak? John Bostic wasn't playing bad ball at all. Who's going to be the quarterback next year, Howell or a rookie? Hey, we're going to circle back to this one, Alex. Appreciate you checking in. Good morning to all the morning trappers that's just checking in. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. We definitely appreciate that. I did not know. Okay. Okay. All right, boom. There we go. Big if there. We're going to circle back to this one. My bad. So, Tommy, good morning. That's kind of where I was getting at. We got to figure out a solution from left guard all the way over to right tackle. Chase Rouillet's been here, but he's been hurt. Let me see. Let me pull up Chase Rouillet. There we go. So he signed a 4-year deal in 2020. $8 million dead cap. Oh my God. Yeah, they probably gonna keep Chase. But my issue and my problem is the fact that you don't take this cap hit first and foremost. But my issue and my the cap hit goes up to 12 million. You probably do gotta take it. Because he keeps getting hurt. He's been hurt the last 2 years. Oh, it has it up here too. Injured reserve. Wow. Do you take that risk moving forward? What is he provided to you? He hasn't provided you much at all. But I'm not sitting here saying pull the plug definitively. And that's why I want to say that they have to just find a solution. But ultimately, when you look at Chase Rouillet, either you banking on him coming back and being, 30 years old, bro. You didn't had 2 season-ending injuries back-to-back seasons, and now you hitting 30. That's just scary to me. And the way this contract is structured and taking an $8 million dead cap hit is, I get it, but that's scary. Because what if he ultimately ends up flaming out truly, the trend continues and that he isn't really producing much and he falls down and continues to go down? Now you got a guy making 12 million, 14 million in 23 and 24, and either he's a backup or often injured in and out of the lineup, but he's not giving you the full value to your contract and you can't even cut him. Yeah, that's a little weird, man. Maybe they restructure though. Maybe they hit a restructure option. I don't know. I see the Howell comments. We'll circle back to it. I see the Howell comments. Just want to make sure we get some others. Relax. How do you even say Chase Young is a bust after the 2 games that he played? Hey Mike, I can't allow that, Cap. You are BSing this morning, man. I'm not going to acknowledge any more Chase Young conversations about him being a bust, especially after the last 2 games that he played. I saw the injury report and am now recanting my statements about us winning. You ain't know the injury report, Huck? I heard Cole was supposed to be like that, but his rookie season was non-existent. Yeah, I like Cole. I like what Cole brings to the table in this offense. And my thing is, and what's really frustrating is that what Jay mentioned, Scott isn't I thought that you would have saw some particular alignments for Cole Turner more often than what he saw. I would have thought that he'd have been used more vertically. And I would have thought that he would have had those opportunities in the red zone, and that just didn't come to fruition. All season long, he wasn't a red zone threat. That's kind of weird. Now he a tight end. He was a converted receiver. So I get your question. My bad. I'm sorry. Yeah, I feel like he could be your big slot guy. And I feel like he can be the isolated guy in a 11 personnel. You have three receivers on one side and one receiver on the other, he can be this guy. He's actually done that a couple times in this offense, but wasn't targeted. He wasn't targeted. I mean, to what degree? I don't know to what degree Bates is underrated. I think he is who he is. Solid blocker. Good run blocker. Okay in pass protection. Solid hands. Not an explosive receiver. Not a athletic receiver. By all means, he'll make some catches on the first and second level. That's a solid player. That's it. Poor coaching. Bates has been bad at blocking this year. So we got to kind of have a distinction. I didn't see this when I was looking at Jay's comment. Yeah, I just think he's been good as a run blocker, but yeah, he's struggled in pass pro. He's struggling in pass pro. And it hurts because they had to use Max a lot with this bad offensive line, and I think that's what exposed some of Bates' weaknesses as a blocker. Like, I don't think he saw that much action last year as a Max Pro blocker and pass pro. Our offensive line has been so trash. Regime fumble to build and acquiring talent. Special teams helps win games. We need to talk to an O-line guru. Something I noticed about our O-line is we don't understand why we utilize. Something about our O-line is I don't understand why we utilize such tight splits, teams, and golfers. I will field trades for Chase Roullier and move on. He stay hurt. Yeah, that's your potential out. It would have to be this all season, Rich. But still, like, you got to find an answer. Like, trading away Chase is a negative if you don't have an answer. Like, so in theory, you have a position filled. It's, do you stick with him? Like, you have the position filled. He just hasn't played in 2 years. So do you stick with him? Because if you trade him away, now you have 4 that you really have to fill a void. Like, you only move on from Chases if you have an answer. But if you don't have an answer, then that's a problem. Like, trading away the guy, you are essentially getting an entirely new offensive line with the potential that Charles Leno is your best offensive lineman, and you don't want that. Like, if he is your weakest link, once again, if he is your weakest link, that's a good deal. But if he is your best player, that's a problem. I'm optimistic. I'm only optimistic view on Roullier is that his injuries aren't soft tissue injuries. Same issue I had with the way we use can zone, end zone threat all day, never used. Yeah, they don't really view Cam Sims. It's a couple people they don't really have too much respect for, like J.D. McKissick. I really thought that he was one of the best weapons on this team. Obviously, his neck injury got in the way of him playing after the Bears game or whatever game it was that he got hurt, and then ultimately put on IR. But when he was here this year, there was always conversation like, why didn't you just go to Buffalo, bro? Because they not even using this man. That man getting 2 carries a game. He's getting like 2 targets a game in the past game. I'm slicing it, but it was low, bro. It was low. Like, what's the point of having these plans with him if you're not going to use him? It don't make sense. Okay, we're caught up. Let's go ahead and talk some more a little bit about Sam Howell. Where are those comments at? So let's see what we got. Marty Herney was a big deal, and flipping from Taylor to Sam. Okay, so who's gonna play quarterback next year? Well, what's y'all prediction? Because this game ain't gonna tell you anything. This game ain't gonna tell you much of anything. Like it would have to be extreme. Like what Rich said. If Hal goes ham this weekend, that is the outlier. That is the one where you sit here and say or ask yourself, okay, do we even have to go any further than Sam? To your question though, you're going into the new year with Carson Wentz and Sam Howell under contract. And I'm not saying this is what I'm predicting. I'm saying this is a matter of fact. Those are the only two people under contract. They will have to cut Carson. And that's what I'm getting at. But you have Carson Wentz and Sam Howell under contract. Realistically speaking, you'll probably only have one quarterback under contract and Sam Howell after they move on from Carson. I don't understand, or I don't think that you're going to look at that quarterback situation and say we can't bring nobody in. And that's what I was saying yesterday on the show. Like, was it on the show? No, it was on the Hogs Haven podcast. I can see Rivera being convinced that this team needs another veteran quarterback. That's not out of the realm of possibility with Ron Rivera. I can see that being a convincing route for him to take and for this team to take. This team isn't bad. This team isn't terrible. Like, this team is above average, but with a solid quarterback, a top 16 quarterback. Like, we're not talking about bottom half of the league. We're not talking about bottom third. That's where Carson Wentz and Taylor Heineke is. They're bottom third quarterbacks. I'm talking about top 16. Like, that takes an above average team to a good team. Because you got a guy who can make some plays back there and consistently do it. And 70% of his games will be good or better. So who do I think is going to play quarterback next year? We gotta make this a fluid conversation, meaning like our answers can change as the weeks go on, as the days go on. Right now, I don't think it's going to be Howell. But if you talk to me after the game and he has a big game, then we can entertain the conversation a little bit more. But I wouldn't be sold. I can only go as far as his offensive line can hold against Dallas Blitzers. That is true. Though Dallas can get pressure with their front four, especially on this offensive line. They wouldn't even have to blitz for real. They can keep 7 in coverage. They can keep 8 in coverage until Sam Howell beat us. Because these windows gonna close quick, homie. I can get home before. Can you beat my coverage? And then go from there. Like, good luck. I hope your offensive coordinator prepared you for this. We got some fire for your ass. Howell does seem to have a good blend of Taylor's mobility and Carson's arm. That is true, Rich. Yeah, I agree with that.
Run that shit up, Chase.
Let me go ahead and scroll back down. I think I missed. Did I miss anything? Yes. Why did they pursue JD and not use him? That is so weird. And granted, the JD McKissick move was before they drafted Brian Robinson, but still. I mean, shout out to JD though, because you all know I spoke with him I interviewed him. You know, his main thing was just loyalty. I got a sense of loyalty being the determining factor for him with Washington. He likes Coach Rivera. And they gave him opportunities that he didn't have elsewhere, and he felt that he had no other choice but to come back. Or he felt no reason why he shouldn't be here in Washington. So it is weird that they didn't use him to an extent in which they did last year. I mean, shit, the dude had 80 catches in his first year here. 80 catches. That's good ball. That's very good. And granted, Alex Smith helped him, right? But still, you show how productive he is with that many touches. Like, that's incredible. And you're telling me that he can't be productive in this offense? It's too many weapons on this offense to not score over 20 points a game. You can't score 20 points a game, bro. Where are we at? Actually, let me double check. I mean, I know it's not 20 points, but I want to see how many it actually is. Oh, these are kickers, bro. Don't nobody care about no kickers, man. How do I this is so confusing sometimes. Take me to oh Lord. Awards. Scrimmage. Is it scrimmage? Nope. I don't know what I'm doing, bro. I'm trying to find the points per game. Oh, I'm stupid. I'm stupid. All right, here we go. Where the points at? Where the points at? Okay. Washington is averaging 18 points per game. Who else got all these weapons? Like, these teams don't have weapons except for the Broncos. The Broncos and the Commanders and the Buccaneers. These three. Y'all can't score 20 points a game. This is an anomaly. The Buccaneers being down here. That's an anomaly. I'm not even going to sit here and criticize them too much. The league average is 21.9 points a game. Y'all at 18. And the Broncos with Russell Wilson at 16. That's actually terrible. Y'all get where I'm coming from, bruh. Can't even average 20 points a game. I feel like I feel like if they're averaging 20 points a game this season, literally just 20, they're probably looking at a 10-7 record. De'Ami Brown is definitely going to be playing. Hawk, that's a good call out. I'm interested in seeing what that looks like with Sam Howell back there. De'Ami's had a couple chances with Taylor in recent weeks, specifically the Giants game where he had those chances downfield. Had some bad balls thrown his way, but had some good opportunities with Carson. Limited some good opportunities, so it's going to be interesting to see how much playtime De'Ami Brown gets, and also what he can do with that opportunity with Sam Howell. It's a very good call out. Very good call out to see what he can do in this offense. Because you got to think, like, who can he take a step over in this offseason if he plays well? Like, who are the main receivers? Is really, let's go ahead and pull them up. It's really Terry, Curtis, Jahan. Dax ain't no threat. Cam ain't no threat. De'Ami only has 5 catches in 14 games. I think this is the guy that he can solidify himself. If he can have a solid game against Dallas, he can solidify himself as something more for Washington. I don't know if you can bring back Heineke, first INT, the new QB throws. You'll hear this chance again. That is a solid point again, too. That's another solid point. Is it smart to bring back a famous backup? And especially if he's not a rookie, Tommy. If that new quarterback is not a rookie, then we got problems. And imagine if Sam Howell stinks and they decide to go in the new season with Sam and Taylor, and you got to deal with Taylor again. You got to bring Taylor back. If Sam Howell ends up stinking the joint up. That's a good point. But I don't know. I don't know, man. It's tricky. This whole quarterback thing is tricky. I am interested to see what route they're going to go. I try not to think about the fact that they don't have. They're in a lame duck season, in my opinion. Like approaching a lame duck season because of ownership and because like you aren't really doing a good job here. And your words are falling on deaf ears, or beginning to fall on deaf ears. So I don't know to what degree I should really entertain the quarterback situation, but at the end of the day, they're going to look for a quarterback. I just don't know how much expectations I should have, or what level or to what degree should I really focus in on it, because I don't know if they'll like really find a good answer or a good solution. It can very much be a Jacoby Brissett. I would be okay with Jimmy Garoppolo, to be clear, by the way. That would be the only one veteran free agent I would be cool with is Jimmy Garoppolo, because you can win. The issue is he gets hurt a lot, so it would probably make sense for you to keep Taylor if Jimmy G is your starter. Okay. Oh my God. John Beck and Rex Grossman. The worst part about the John Beck and Rex Grossman Jamual too is that Mike Shanahan stood on the table for John Beck. That was the even worse part. He stood on the table for John Beck. Matter of fact, wouldn't this be the John Beck though? Like Ron Rivera stood on the table for Carson. Nah, I ain't doing that, man. I ain't gonna lie. If it was me, I'd look into Jordan Love. My only thing. Oh, my bad, Dakota. My only thing with Jordan Love, bro, is like, what has convinced anybody that he's worth trading for? First and foremost. Secondly, what has convinced anybody that he's overcome like those bad outings he's had in replace of or in absence of Aaron Rodgers? I'm not going to sit here and draw a conclusion on him, but my thing is, if he has some question marks, why are you trading for a question mark? That's my thing, Zoo. Why are we trading for a question mark? And they're going to try and get some assets off him. Why are we trading for a quarterback at all after they just traded for Carson? Howe has to be the check down king until Dallas brings more pressure. He said that's the Scott effect. He's all over the place offensively. Bucks are there because of how bad their offensive line is. Cough. Bucks always been a mess because their O-line puts Brady under so much pressure. Diami needs to show up in this game. I agree, Rich. Matter of fact, what are some things that y'all looking for? If y'all are familiar with the people who may or may not be available for Washington, what are some of the things y'all are looking for in this game? It's not too much to preview. I'm not even thinking about, I haven't even thought about this entire week of breaking down the Dallas game. I've been focused on quarterback. I've been focused on the weapons offensively. I think the good thing for Scott Turner is that he ain't about to be under so much pressure this week. Like, this is one of those games where you can put your nuts on the table, if you get what I'm saying. Like, you can go ahead and call you can be as aggressive as possible against Dallas because you ain't going to the playoffs. If you lose, you're not missing out on anything. But you have everything to gain if your quarterback looks good, and you're attacking downfield, and you're attacking that defense altogether. Like, you're being aggressive with your throws, you're being aggressive with your play calls. I agree, Rich, that Diami needs to show up. I also think that this game should probably benefit Scott Turner because he ain't under too much pressure. It only looks bad if Sam Howell as an individual looks terrible. Because what have you been doing this entire season? That's all I'm saying. Money spent looking at another quarterback would be money not spent fixing the offensive line. Jimmy a free agent. That's why I brought him up. He's God damn it. He's a free agent. Yeah. He's a free agent. Tom Brady's a free agent. Al2's already on it. Yeah. Both of them are free agents. Karn Love by trade. Yep. All right, so Rich says Percy Butler, Cam Sims. He already did it last year, right? Mawson Diggs. Rich on it. I don't have much people that I want to see defensively. If Percy Butler does play, Percy is going to get some snaps. I would love to see how Percy looks in the slot and as a post safety, as that single high, or maybe as just like that original post safety, like playing deeper. I don't want to see him in the box. Percy Butler is not a box guy. He doesn't take on contact too well for his position. And he doesn't tackle too well at the line of scrimmage. Slot is cool. Post safety is cool. And I want to see how that looks because, the challenging thing would be like, you can probably move on for Bobby if you have any faith in Percy, but like Bobby gives you that heart to play in the box. Like, that's a reason why they put him in the slot, and they can mix and match from that Buffalo nickel spot between Cam Curl, Jamie Davis, Bobby McCain. That's really good. So I want to see what Percy Butler looks like, but I also want to see where they put him and see how he responds in those new spots, because he's not going to play just one position. But I don't want him playing in the box. I don't want him playing that Buffalo nickel role. I don't want that. You remember when they came out with the list of the most expensive offenses in the NFL? I do remember that, but I don't remember where they ranked. Hawks said that they ranked 3rd and most expensive throughout the league. Jesus out too. That's all you need. You remember when they came? Yeah, I mean, Carson Wentz helped with that. But they also had that big signing in Rouillet. Y'all know, I just realized Curtis Samuel's on his last year as his deal. I like what he brings to the table. Did y'all also realize that Curtis Samuel didn't have any carries against the Browns? Curtis had no carries, but he had 1 catch for 6 yards. I'm to this day, I just don't know what they were doing. Like, nobody said don't use Cam. Nobody said don't use Curtis Samuel. I'm trying to figure out why he wasn't involved in the run game. We just said you used him a little bit too much in too predictable situations, bro. They didn't say completely abandon him. And then Curtis played 64% of the snaps. He played 44 snaps. That's a little bit weird. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and continue through. I feel like let's see if we miss anything. Hey, what y'all got going on this weekend, man? Y'all excited for playoffs games tomorrow? I got bread on Tennessee covering the number. The 6.5 against the Jaguars, but I'm a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a little nervous now. Let me double check. It's at 6.5 still. And I'm starting to realize I didn't know this to be the case, but how the NFL, how does the NFL put the Packers and Lions as a Sunday night game, and you don't have them playing at the same time as the Seahawks? How is that not fair? And then you got the Chiefs and the Raiders playing on Saturday. Who the hell cares about the Raiders playing the Chiefs? The Raiders suck. Put them at the 425 on Sunday. What are we doing? I'm geeked to see the Jaguars and Titans play. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm geeked because I like what the Jaguars are doing, but I also think that the Titans are a little bit underrated because of their current situation. But they got a hell of a coach. And they just got embarrassed a few weeks ago by the Jaguars. So I'm a little confused. But why did they do the Lions in the Seahawks dirty like that? I just don't understand. I mean, I understand it, like Aaron Rodgers, right? But it's a little petty and it's a little blatant. If you care about competitive advantage or disadvantage, you shouldn't have them playing at the night spot. Even though I'm very interested in the game, I just feel like I understand it now. I didn't think about it at first, but I kind of see why people are upset with the NFL and why the NFL dropped the ball. Like, you don't do that, especially if you preach certain aspects, man. Sure, everybody likes to see Aaron Rodgers, but if that's the case, how about you put Aaron Rodgers and the Lions on the Saturday slate? How about you do that? Have them play first. And that may give Seattle a little bit motivation. Like, I don't know. I'm a little confused. Do calls plays like you playing Madden. I would consider hiring Norv and a quality control. Hey, I mean, look, if they beat Tennessee, that's cool, but you know what I'm saying? Keep it within 6 points. If you get what I'm saying, keep it within 6 points, dog. Scott does heavy lifting, but his daddy watching over his shoulder. Al, if you think that Scott Turner is in the ear of I mean, if Norv Turner is in the ear of Scott, because ain't no way in hell you got Norv Turner looking over. I mean, and he may be talking to his son, but he also may be allowing his son to navigate through his own issues and his own trials and tribulations. Oh, that's all I'm saying. Like he may just be like giving them some pointers here and there, but some people don't want like that day-to-day and nonstop like tutelage. Like I don't want the answers. Just help me think about possible angles to find the answer. Like help me navigate that way, type of deal. Oh, but that's where I was at. If you think that and I'm not saying you literally, but if you think that Norv is around, and I don't know, that's a he ain't. I ain't claiming Scott. If I'm Norv, like, bruh, this ain't nothing. This doesn't look like much of anything respectable in this league. And that's another thing too. Like, how does Ron even keep Scott Turner when your offense looks this bad? I really don't respect. It's so hard, man. It's hard for me to respect the guy. Like, bro, he took the bait yesterday or 2 days ago. Somebody asked him if he felt that this team took a next step. We talked about this on the show, and he said he feels like the team took the next step. They dealt with injuries. Some things happened, but we dealt with injuries and like that. Come on. You said Sunday that you was not gonna list out the reasons, why this thing fell through, because then they will be labeled as excuses. And then 2 days later, you threw out the excuses. That is just so frustrating to hear. And it's not surprising. He was waiting for his moment. He took the cheese. And your excuses are out there. Like, this was very obvious. You were waiting for your moment. It's so frustrating. I was about to. I don't want to go down that path. Maybe he don't want it, but he looking like he needs it. How is available in the offensive? Who is available? I got you in the offensive coordinator market. That'll take some research, Rich. So here's the deal. And I'm assuming that everybody doesn't know. I'm not sitting here saying that y'all don't know though. But I want to remind everybody too, like, offensive coordinators in the league currently are only taking interviews for head coaching jobs. Same thing with defensive coordinators. I don't think they are allowed to be interviewed for lateral positions and get poached for lateral positions. So when I say that to say, Rich, you would start having to looking at like position coaches. You would have to start looking at those younger guys or maybe position coaches who's been around for some time, who hasn't gotten that offensive coordinator shot. And that's why I say it would take some research to kind of figure that out. Think about how Mike McDaniel got hired. Sean McVay for some period. He got the OC job after being a tight ends coach. He's been around for some time, again, remember, but he got the OC job after being a tight ends coach. I'm trying to think. I don't even have any assistants off the top of my head that I can sit here and say are worth looking into right now. We can always dive into that down the road. Like, think about some of the teams who have had offensive success over the past couple years. You look at the Cincinnati Bengals. Again, I don't know the players, right? I don't know the people that can be interviewed. But if you look at the people around the league who had offensive success over the past couple years, you look at Buffalo, Cincinnati. You look at Kansas City, obviously, right? Then you look at Philly. I don't know about Philly. Who else? Is that it? San Fran continues to have one of the league's better offenses. And nuanced offenses, but that's who that is. And Cal. Yeah, again, like I said, it takes some research, Rich. That's kind of where I was getting at. Like, you got to kind of figure out like some of the successful offenses around the league and figure out who their assistants are and see if that's worth diving into. Because if it is, then that's probably where you get your answer. But I don't think you can really take lateral positions. So the offensive coordinators for these teams across the league is where it gets a little muddy. I don't know anybody's taking lateral positions. They only taking head coaching spots. You think this man gonna go on TV and say we suck? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If it made the long-term health of our offense. So I want to be clear when I was talking about that. I don't think he's ever going to go on TV and say we suck. I don't ever think that he's going to say that, and that's probably part of the problem. I don't think he's going to get on TV and also say, I think I dropped the ball or we haven't taken the next step. But I think that's part of the problem. Let me show you something. I showed this on the Chopper Dive podcast last night. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can. Sean McVay. Failure Rams 2022. Okay. So look, I want people to kind of read this and maybe it's too small, so I'll read along. Okay. Here it goes right here.
Hey, run that shit up, Chase.
So Sean McVay said this, Rich, last week, 5-11. That's much worse than Washington this season, right? But I want to show you what accountability looks like from a leadership point. All right, here we go. I like to think that you use it as a growth experience. To say that I've learned a lot of things about myself, both good and bad, I think would be fair to say. However you want to look at it, you realize fortunate and blessed I've been in a situation surrounded by so many good people, and we've been able to stay relatively healthy, and that's led us to having fairly consistent results. This year has been, in my opinion, from what I can just control, professional failure. That's been humbling. It's been challenging. I think it's revealed some things that maybe I wouldn't have known about myself that you would be able to have to deal with and acknowledge accordingly. But if you can do it the right way, I believe you can be stronger. Did you hear anything about injuries? Did you hear anything about running backs? Ron Rivera said it took some time to get running backs out there. Did you hear anything about circumstances around him? Or did you sit here and hear McVay say everything that's been in my control, I have failed? And Rich, that's kind of the point that I want to get across. And I'm not just like talking to you. I'm more so like going a little bit further with my point is that I think we all know to this point. I think everybody in here knows at least that we have all, from Trapper Dive on the Washington side, we have all been talking about the lack of accountability from Ron Rivera. We have always been talking about that. We've been talking about it for some time. So this is not a new topic. But when you get to this point in the season for Ron and you're asking questions like the tough questions where you have an opportunity to not go the excuse route, but to acknowledge that you have let this team down, you have let the fans down, and the community, you have let them down as the head coach of Washington for what you can control. I think that's where if you ask this question again and say, do you think that this man is going to go on TV and say we suck? No. But do I expect a coach who has clearly blew this season, who has clearly faulted down the stretch? I sound like my granddad when I do that. He was a preacher, bro. But like that's kind of where I'm like, that's where the accountability and that's where the acknowledgement of failure comes through. Like, it's okay to acknowledge that you failed. That doesn't make you a failure. And maybe Ron is in that spot where he thinks that if I acknowledge that I messed up or that I did not get the job done, then I'll be viewed differently. It's okay to acknowledge that you didn't do good, and maybe you get kudos. Maybe people who doesn't respect you because you don't take accountability, or doesn't respect the fact that you don't take accountability. Maybe those are the people who can change their tune and be like, all right, I see where you're coming from. Maybe you finally understood that you got to do better. That's all I'm saying, man. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Rich, if it made him make better decisions for the long term, yes. Teams can block coaches from taking interviews for lateral positions. We lacking all of that, all accountability on McVay's part. Ron full of shit. Ron is elite at blame deflection. That's all I'm getting at. People need to stop hanging on his every word. Facts. What's the view gonna look like? Oh man. Oh Lord. He's shown himself as an excuse maker and a flip flopper. That's all there is to it, man. That's all there is to it. All right, so that's gonna call it for me this morning. I got some work to do. I'm gonna take care of on my side. As always, fellas, I appreciate everybody checking in. Everybody who's checking in later today, I appreciate you checking in as well. On this side, man, everything is all good. I hope everything's all good with you all. Stay safe. Enjoy the weekend. I said yesterday, I don't know if we're gonna do post game unless Sam Howell has an incredible game. There's nothing to recap about it, if that makes sense, that we can't say for Tuesday. So I just want everybody to be mindful. We may not be live post game for Dallas, right? But I want everybody to keep in mind that we will be around come Tuesday. But I'll go ahead. I see Hawk is on. He joined at the very last second. But he decided to hop through, so I'm gonna show some love to Hawk, and then I'm gonna get up out of here. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk to Hawk right quick. I should have actually acknowledged that the matter of fact, if there's a conversation to be had, if you want to join up now too and just chop it up, whatever's on your mind with Washington, look at the YouTube link in the description. I'm getting everybody in here since I'm about to go ahead and dip. So let's go ahead and have a conversation and talk a little bit. Let me get Hawk in here right now. Let me stop presenting as well. Remove. How do I do the okay? Stop. Okay, boom. All right, let's go ahead and get Hawk in this thing. Boom. Turn the music down. Boom. Add Hawk. Oh Lord, I didn't mean to do it that way. Here we go. What's going on with you, Hawk? How you feeling, man?
Man, hey, Mo, man, I'm doing better. I'm doing better than Washington fans. You know what I'm saying? Around this time for, I know we all, know the obvious. We could have been in the playoffs. We're not in the playoffs. Won't even sniff the playoffs for a third straight season. For a third straight season, 7 games or less.
Yep. No, not even 7 games or less. It's 7 games. 7 games. What is it? 21, 20. What's his record? He's currently, Ron Rivera is
0-6 in December. You said it yesterday.
Yeah, 0-6 in December. 20. What is his record? Where is he at? Oh, 20. What the? I'm gonna go. Oh, there it is. 21, 27, and 1. I went too far down. 21, 27, and 1 is his record for Washington in his 3 years. Probably about to be 21, 28, and 1. And then 0-6 in the months of December and January for Washington. All bad. Or mediocre. Mediocre, but even still, mediocre isn't good enough, nonetheless. But what's going on with your player?
Yeah, man, you know what, Maul? I wanted to come on here, man, and ask you, you know what I'm saying, and ask everybody in the chat, you know what I'm saying, once the season is officially over, quote unquote, wanted to ask you all, what will you all, well, what are some things that you will remember, you know what I'm saying, as far as the highest of highs, the lowest of lows. What are some moments that you will remember specifically about this season?
Oh, that's a real good question. Hey, all right. So let's kind of start from the top, the highest of highs. Let me go and look at the schedule to kind of remember my. Okay, so one of the highest of highs or one of the let's go memories. The decision first and foremost to whether or not it was correlated or not, or maybe you would have provided the same results. I don't know, but getting rid of Sam Mills was a
Yeah,
bold decision at the time in which they did it, but they did
very.
do it. And that defensive line had one of the more productive pass rushing seasons under Ron Rivera. And altogether, like run defense as well, had one of the most productive or more productive seasons under Ron Rivera. So that's one. Moving on from Sam Mills, just saying F it, pull the plug, did it. Let's see. Matter of fact, let me go one for one, man. What's one of yours?
Yeah, all right, bro. So, my highest of highs, bro. Oh man, you know what? My highest of highs was probably during that. I mean, during that win streak, I was like, you know what, yo. Like what, like maybe after that first or second game, I was like, you know what, yo, man, but you know what I'm saying? We gonna win the next game, and then we won the next game, and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Terry McLaurin finally getting, the respect and recognition by earning that Pro Bowl spot. You know what I'm saying? Good to see him. But lowest of lows, man, I got a laundry list.
All right, hold on. And Jay brought up a good one. I swear that I was hoping nobody said it. That was my first one. That was my next one. That Jacksonville game, the first week of the season. It was a lot of excitement because of Washington got off to a solid start, and then they finished strong too, with those touchdowns to Terry and Jahan. So yeah, to Jay, that was definitely another high. Just, and it's kind of crazy. It's the first game of the season. You would have thought, like, you saw the Jekyll and Hyde right then and there with Carson Wentz.
Yep.
But he finished strong and got the dub. Let's see what else we got. The Indianapolis Colts game. Taylor's last two drives, if y'all remember, like I mean, obviously y'all were around, but for those who may be watching later, we did the film breakdown of the Indianapolis Colts game, and we showed like what those last two drives to win it on the road against Indianapolis. Like, Taylor was damn near perfect that game,
Yeah.
and like he was flawless, and led Washington back to a dub over the Indianapolis Colts. So to that extent,
Yep.
and to that degree, that was a high. Let's see. Terry Cook and Jair against the Packers. Down the sideline.
Yeah.
Like, it's like that's a high. The defense, allowing what game was that? Or creating 4 turnovers against the Eagles. One of them was a little fluke because it was a face mask on the call that was missed, but creating 4 turnovers against the Eagles to help pull off the upset.
Yeah.
That was a high. What else? There's others, man, but the defense did a lot of the leg work in that win streak. So,
Yeah.
but I guess I'll stop there, man. Where are your lows at? I'm gonna save this question too for the podcast on Tuesday. So I want to make sure that I hold some of mine. But where are your lows at?
Yeah, man. So my lows, bro. Obviously after that first game, after that Jacksonville win, and mind you, I had us losing. Saying that first game, and they almost lost it. But then, it wasn't until what? It wasn't until the Chicago Bears game that they got their second win, right? So
Yeah.
it was a low there. But then you got the infamous press mid press conference where Coach Rivera was asked what do you think the problem is for this team right now, and what was the word he uttered, or the position that he uttered? Quarterback. Easy. That was his first thought right there and there. You know what I'm saying? That should have told fans all you need to know what he thought about his decision. You know what I'm saying? To go and bring in Carson Wentz. But then he goes and he kind of recants it away by having another press conference and blows up. You know what I'm saying? I want to say after that Chicago game about how he went ahead and he looked at the data and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? And just
Analytics.
ultimately it was his decision. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You made a whole fuss about that, and then after that, Taylor comes in, and hey, we get some traction. You know what I'm saying? Traction on the winning side of this, and honestly, and kind of to kind of go back to the season high. I ain't ever seen a positive record. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? What? Prior 2 seasons in. 7-5. You know what I'm saying? For a moment, when we should have been 8-4, but whatever. 7-5, I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. And
Yeah.
then, and then right after that, bro, it's just then right after that, just like on schedule, and leading to, that clip that you showed, what is it, what is it, this past Sunday, or you know what I'm saying, are you mad, Coach Ron Rivera, man? You didn't know you couldn't be eliminated, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's a
What?
low. I'm glad you said that one. I'm glad you mentioned that one.
Man. Yeah, now more for the purpose of the show. I got more, but but I gotta hear what was what were your lowest and lows? You know what I'm saying? You said for this season.
The biggest one, I'm gonna say for sure, traded for Carson Wentz.
Yeah,
that was my low. Like, I understand that they needed an answer. I understand that Ron clearly was desperate. Like, he was desperate before he even made the move. I understand all of that. And contextually speaking, you needed an answer at the quarterback position. But I also think that with all that being said, what hurts this team from going into the draft and saying that I can go get a rookie and go from there and try and find my answer, because that is the only, like, when you think about like how everything unfolded, it's not just the trade for Carson, to be clear.
Yeah.
It's traded for Carson, paying the $28 million, and not even working to negotiate. My bad. Working to negotiate the split and the difference with the Colts. And then you could also think about the fact that he could have been released and you just jumped the gun.
Yeah.
So like everything around the trade of Carson Wentz was a failure. And then the hindsight as well, like understanding that Ron Rivera went out of his way to say that they studied him. And he said after that Bears game, Hawk, he looked at the analytics. You did all that, and your boy choked when he had an opportunity to come back and show off in that Browns game and look terrible. And I'm putting aside the fact that his offensive coordinator didn't help him. I'm just saying, from Carson Wentz individual aspect, he looked bad. And this is the guy that you said you stuck your neck out for, and you did all the analytics and things like that. I think that the lowest of the low for me, I wasn't a fan of the trade in the time, and I was cautious in what I said, but like what they gave up was I just didn't agree with it. I didn't like it. Sure that they made some of the money back essentially, or some of the assets back, trading back in that first round when they got Jahan. So you make up for some of the losses, but you should have never been in that position to give up so much or that much for Carson. So that's kind of where I'm at, man. It's the fact that you traded for Carson, and you delayed the quarterback process another year because you went for him, as opposed to just understanding that you can go in free agency and or draft and sit here and roll with those options too, and that wouldn't hurt you at all, especially with team building. With the way you went with your offensive line, the way that you cut some of your defensive linemen, you got rid of Eric Flowers because of that Carson Wentz trade, so on and so forth. So you got rid of Matt Ioannidis because of that Carson Wentz trade. Like, so many dominoes because of that Carson Wentz trade. And that was the lowest of lows for me. I didn't like it. And I didn't like the fact that, they had to make some moves that weren't really beneficial for them in the moment either. Where are we at? Rich said Wentz trade. Al2 said the lowest was the first half in the Lions game. One of his lowest is the first half in the Lions game, leaving Carson in
that was
as well. Yeah. Leaving Carson in that last game to throw to throw his 3 INTs. Lowe's is the second Giants game. That's a good one. We had so many other issues to correct. Yes. Another low is Ron has his view of us being a power run team, but didn't tell his OC or construct the roster. He forgot to hey Scott. I know it's week 18, but I meant to tell you a few weeks ago that I just want us to run the ball and have some play action off the run, man. If you don't mind, can we do that for week 18 so we can make this offense stand out and make it pop, make it look good for a prospective free agent quarterback? Rich said,
I mean,
you give him 6 months to 28 mil, I would do better than one. Hey, you in a good training spot, I'll tell you that much. And then Jay Tyler said bad offensive line, no tight ends, and an offensive coordinator. All right. That's a lot. That's a lot of lows. Hawk, you got any more, man? Or you good?
Yeah.
Or you want to save them for Tuesday? I don't know. Because I'm gonna bring it up on Tuesday.
Okay, yeah. Hey, look. Real quick. The progress that Jamin Davis show going into next season, I think that he's going to build off of that. And he's, you know what, he may be like, you know, I mean, matter of fact, I'm not sure if they have like a most improved player. You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, he might not win it this year, but next year, heck, you know what, he might be a Pro Bowler next year. You know what I'm saying? Jamin Davis, I like him. Who else, man? You know what? And you know what? Can't forget about Brian Robinson, man. You know what? Season high to high. You know what? His life is intact. You know what I'm saying? Prayers up for you know, what is it? DeMar Hamlin. You know what I'm saying? As he continues to go ahead fighting things like that to go and get back, man. But for our team specifically, for our players, is how Brian Robinson did not get his life taken. You know what I'm saying? And look at the season that he had. You know what I'm saying? Far. Like, on the moments that he had and things like that, the things he was able to go ahead and do. So Jamin Davis, Brian Robinson, and Lois and Lowe's. As a matter of fact, you know what, brother? Ball, you actually said it earlier. Why did he come here and not stay with Buffalo? I mean, look, I know hindsight is 2020. But man, JD, man, you know what? It would have been okay, brother. Like, I mean, honestly, JD could have pulled a Kittle Fuller. Go get you a ring and then come back.
Nah, no bull.
You know what I'm saying? Go
you
get
really
you a
felt
ring
that
and
well.
come back.
Come back in a couple years, man. Go get that dub somewhere else.
You know what I'm saying? Because he deserves. I mean, honestly, like guys like him. I mean, guys like him deserve it, man. But you know what I'm saying. But at the same time, you know what? Sometimes and things like that. And honestly, only time will tell. You know. We have to see if you know. So you know what? I mean, for what he's done, and from Coach Rivera, man, to Scott, it's bad. I mean, West trade. You know who else he brought in? William Jackson the third, and what? You know what I'm saying? And young round pick for him. What they get for him?
I don't even think it was that.
Third, bro. Ended up trading him after 1 year, man. A year and a half. A year and a half into the season. You know what I'm saying? You went there and trade him, man. William Jackson the third is the lowest.
Benched him after 3 games. Or 4 games after like 3 or 4 games.
They benched him. Yeah. So come on, man. Oh my gosh, man. It's just saying AJ. I heard he say, oh my gosh, boy. So these guys. I mean, between both Martys, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead, bring in Marty McFly or something, man. You know what I'm saying? So somebody needs to be in this room with them. I tell you, Ma, it's man, it's just sad, man. It's just sad. I can't even get my words out, man. You know, that's how frustrated I am about this day season.
We'll save them for Tuesday, then, so we can dive into like the highs and lows a little bit further with the game with AJ and Dre as well, so we can finally recap this season. properly.
And it's definitely more, ball. It's definitely more. Trust me.
Oh hell yeah, it's plenty. It's absolutely,
Yeah,
and if you want to play the macro perspective, it probably like that's a low.
Exactly.
It showed itself this year. Like that's plenty of things to talk about. Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay, Hawk, that's gonna wrap it up for us. We're gonna go ahead and get up out of here, man. As always, man, Hawk, enjoy your weekend. Be safe, man. Good luck to them boys over there in Be More. As who they take on Cincinnati this week, right?
Yeah. Baltimore, Cincinnati. Matter of fact,
Baltimore,
they're
Cincinnati.
at Cincinnati this week. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good luck, because that boy
Yeah,
Huntley. If you asking him to be great
I
with his
tell you.
arm, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Man, man. Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, honestly, if our team can't win, Ravens, y'all got to do something, man. Y'all got to do something to make us feel better. Something, man.
Oh man. All right. We're gonna wrap it up. What do you say, Tommy at 7th in like 2025? That's even worse. It's like 3 years from now. Marty Herney. We're gonna see out too. We're gonna talk about this in the off season. All right, but yeah, y'all be safe, enjoy y'all weekend, all that good stuff. Hawk, I'll catch you later as well, man. Be safe.